morning, good afternoon, good evening all. It's Bear here. And I'd like to welcome you to my YouTube channel, aboxwithnolid. A channel I'm creating not just to bring the awareness around the understandings of complex trauma and living with complex trauma, but I really want to get into the day-to-day realities and what I've learned over many, many years that may be helpful to you to improve the quality of your lives, but also to help create a path for you out of the depth that trauma affects us. Now, with that in mind, I've been reminded in the last couple of weeks about a part of us that is so important when we're trying to work with healing, the aftermath of trauma. And those that know me know I harp on about this with them all the time. And that is our gut health. That is our digestive system and its health, its working, its functionality. And also comes into play with that is liver and kidney function. I've spoken about this in previous videos around if we graze, eat and do these different things, they can support the autonomic aspect, the automatic aspect of our threat response assessment to proving that, well, if we're eating, we're not under immediate threat to work to diminish that heightened threat state. But there is another key aspect that I'll do a series of videos down the road on with a lot more information, but I want to touch on it here because, as I said, I've been reminded of it, how important it is, and I believe where we are in the sequence of videos, it is really important. And that is the functionality of our digestive system. It's not just, making ourselves eat healthily. It's also doing your own research and looking into how you can better support your particular situation when you're looking at your digestive health, your gut health. Now, there are many traps with this, and the majority of those traps are hugely expensive. Now, I'm not talking about going out there and getting all these fancy probiotic this and probiotic that. Being honest, if you come from a trauma base, the majority of them don't work because of the environment that they are going into within our digestive system. When we live in a heightened threat state, when we live with heightened fear states and heightened anxiety states, the acidity of our system is so high for so long that the gut flora, the bacteria that processes and digests our food and does a lot more other things that are beneficial, they die off. The good ones die off, the bad ones that can survive that environment remain. And that causes a large component that feeds how we feel when we're living with trauma. And that is the depression, that is the anxiety states, that is the intestinal pain. And it feeds in so many ways how uncomfortable we are going out. It makes even sharing a meal with friends in a restaurant makes it even worse because of what our gut will do and how, what we can tolerate and what we can't. There's so many different facets, but the one I want to raise today is, and I was reminded of this recently, is one of the key aspects of depression, the physical sense of being depressed, of feeling depressed, that can add to all the cognitive reasons and the trauma reasons for being depressed, is our gut health. The majority of the feel-good hormones and enzymes within our endocrine system, those that create the sense of well-being, those that create endorphins, those that create the ability to feel good, are made from our gut. They are made by the combinations of bacteria within our digestive system and many of the processes post that. They are produced in our liver, the largest part of our endocrine system. All the hormones around feeling that sense of well-being and achievement and productivity and energy and all that comes from our liver. And our liver is closely related to our digestive system. There are more sensory neurons within our digestive system that are, they're nerve cells that assess everything. So if our gut is unhealthy, there's a huge component of that plays into how severe how we feel and how severely we are triggered and how severely we respond. And it also heightens our depression into states of shutdown. And this one, to heal this, is on us. And as I said in the beginning of this video, I'm not trying to push any probiotic stuff or all the fancy things, all fancy diets or any of that. For me, we go back to old world. Our ancestors of every race on this earth had foods that supported gut health, promoted gut health. Now we could take 100 probiotic tablets every day, or one of those probiotic drinks every day, and nothing, it won't benefit us at all, except we were just throwing away huge amounts of money. Think of your gut like a garden. If the soil is unhealthy, then it won't support what is needed to grow. And what we need to grow is the good bacteria. So we need to have a supportive environment to support the good bacteria to grow. And as I said, all our ancestral diets had that within their mix. In a lot of them, it's down to those fermented foods, the fermented cabbages and things like that, the pickles and all this sort of stuff. It comes down to, different forms of dairy, fermented dairies and things like that. Have a look into your own ancestral history, your actual bloodline, and look at the food that they ate. Look at what they ate and how they ate it. And the reason I'm pushing your own ancestry is your digestive system is designed genetically to work that way. You will have the most benefit and the best response. And it will be the easiest daily implementation. You won't have to do these hugely complex routines. And it also has a secondary benefit of helping to secure a part of a belonging by learning a little bit more about what makes you you. When you're looking at diet, for me, eating out of packets doesn't do us any good. Going back to how your ancestors ate and going to as raw fruit as you can, as least from packets as you can. Don't worry about all these hugely expensive organics and all this sort of stuff. If you can afford it, awesome. If you can't, get the best quality you can. But if you can remove the packaged stuff as much as possible, the processed foods as much as possible, and if you can have a varied and broad diet as much as possible, a good healthy mix of meat and vegetables. If you're vegetarian, as least processed proteins as you can. It's the thing of supporting your digestive system by giving it all the exercises it needs, all the resources it needs to build a good ecology of bacteria, a good ecology of soil, one of a better analogy, to support that bacteria, to improve peristalsis and to improve your gut health, to help heal any ulcers or lesions or any of these sorts of issues that are extremely common in the world of trauma. And we do this by what we consume every day. I will always, when I'm asked, and I get asked this quite a lot, if we go back to how our ancestors lived, the last 14 generations, as in food, as in what we consume, our body is designed to receive it and work with it. Therefore, it will best support it. If we go to a completely foreign culture, yeah, that will work in time, but you're going to have a little bit of an issue getting your body to use it and accept it, which is fine. If you want to do that, that's cool. I get that when I love some of the Asian fermented products, but, reintroducing them to a traumatized gut, that wasn't the most pleasant experience. And it took several months before my body would start to learn to work with them, before my ecology would learn to accept them. So it's keeping all of this in mind. And there are plenty of very simple herbal teas and things you can add into your day, the ones your ancestors used, that help your liver function, that help your kidney function, that help your body detox and clean. Green teas across the board support that as a gentle detox, a daily detox, to help the body deal with the repercussions that living in heightened states creates. It also promotes gut flora. It promotes that good environment in your digestive system. And this is a long fix. It's not a quick fix. So take your time with it. But if you can get them, but the more you get your digestive system working, the better support you have to work with, stepping out of depression, stepping out of anxiety states and fear states, and working with this stuff. Because the body feels less under threat. If you go on strict diets and all this, be mindful if you come for a food insecurity base, you are feeding a survival state, so keep that in mind as well. And also understand that if we comfort eat, that is out of balance as well. So if you need to comfort eat, find things that don't come from a packet, that actually support your digestive system. You will teach yourself to get the same satisfaction, and you're supporting your health, and your need to comfort eat will be reduced. All this comes around working with this survival state, this survival ecology that we live in every day. And the more we can do to support this environment and to work with healing, attachment and connections and so forth, the greater the chances of our path of healing working, and so we can come out of this state and re-enter and create and work with our lives. As always, I love your guys' comments and feedback. Please be mindful, please be safe, and I'll see you all next time.